What if I told you that two tech founders built a profitable company, gave their employees 8-hour days, summer Fridays, and told the entire hustle culture movement to go to hell? You'd say, that's amazing. And you'd be half right. Because what Jason Fried and DH8 built at Basecamp is genuinely impressive. But what they're selling in this book, it's a permission slip for mediocrity wrapped in a yoga mat and dipped in kombucha. Let me explain. Hello, my name is Todd Hagopian, the original Stagnation Assassin and the author of this book, The Unfair Advantage, Weaponizing the Hypomanic Toolbox. But today, we are doing a Stagnation Assassin book review of It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansson, DHH. So get ready for a hard-hitting, bold, relentless review of this Calm-Culture Manifesto and whether it deserves space on your bookshelf or in your competitor's hands. Fried and DHH run Basecamp, a project management software company that they've operated profitably for over 20 years with about 50 employees. Their thesis, the modern workplace is insane, and the solution is calm. No goals, no growth targets, no hustle, just good work, reasonable hours, and lots of sleep. They've been running this playbook since early 2000s, and this is their third book preaching the gospel of corporate tranquility. Let's talk about what this book gets right. I'm going to give credit where credit is crushing it. Fried and Hansen are absolutely right about several things that most CEOs are too proud or too panicked to admit. First, the meeting massacre that they describe is real. A 1 hour meeting with six people doesn't cost 1 hour, it costs 6 hours. And most of those hours produce nothing but the illusion of progress. At Basecamp, scheduling a meeting is intentionally difficult. That's not laziness, that's labor leverage. When I was transforming divisions at Fortune 500 companies, killing unnecessary meetings was one of the first surgical strikes that I would make. Fried and DHH actually codify this beautifully. Second, their concept of deadlines, not dreadlines, is brilliant operational engineering. At Basecamp, deadlines are fixed, but scope is variable. The project gets smaller as it moves forward, not ever bigger. That's the opposite of what happens in 90% of corporations, where scope creep turns into a 6 week sprint, into a 6 month swamp. Most companies don't miss deadlines because the work is too hard. They miss deadlines because the scope is too stupid. Third, disagree and commit philosophy. Once the decision is made, debate dies and execution begins. No passive aggressive sabotage, no relitigating in the hallway. You decide, you commit, you execute. I've weaponized this principle in boardrooms where indecision was bleeding millions of dollars. Fried and DHH get this one dead right. Their attack on open plan offices is also righteous warfare. They call for library rules, quiet, focused, protective of deep work. As someone who's seen open plan offices destroy more productive potential than any single management fad in the last 30 years, I wanted to stand up and salute. Now let's talk about the murder board. What does this book get wrong? Now let me take this calm manifesto and put it through the competitive carnage that it deserves. Because there's a thin line between calm and comatose. And this book dances right on top of that line. The biggest problem, Basecamp is a 50-person software company selling a subscription product. They have no manufacturing complexity, no global supply chain, no regulatory burden, no union negotiations, no board of directors demanding quarterly performance, and no billion-dollar revenue target. Telling a Fortune 500 CEO to run their company like Basecamp is like telling a Navy SEAL to take tactical advice from a yoga instructor. The breathing exercises might help, but they won't clear the room. When they write no goals, no targets, I physically felt my blood pressure spike. No targets? at Berkshire Hathaway, no targets at ITW, no targets at JBT Morrell. You might as well tell the offensive line to block whenever they feel inspired to do so and protect the quarterback if they feel like it. Goals aren't the enemy. Bad goals are the enemy. Performance goals disconnected from operational reality is the enemy. Those deserve destruction. But eliminating goals entirely, that's not calm. That's capitulation camouflaged as corporate wisdom. Their anti-growth stance is where the book becomes genuinely dangerous for ambitious operators. Fried and DHH openly say that they don't care about year-over-year growth. They gave up millions in revenue to simplify their product line. Good for them. But generalizing that philosophy to every business is like telling a marathon runner to stop at mile 5 because they're already tired. Growth isn't the disease. Mindless growth is. But deliberately choosing stagnation and calling it serenity, that's the most expensive kind of complacency there is. This book also conveniently ignores the survivorship bias baked into its own narrative. Basecamp launched early in the SaaS market with a beloved product and a loyal customer base. They can afford to coast because they caught the wave early. That luxury doesn't transfer to the operator fighting for market share in a commoditized, cutthroat industry. So the stagnation verdict on this one, there's a lot of good stuff in here, but the stagnation verdict is 3 kills. It doesn't have to be crazy at work is a 3-kill book, not a 5-kill book, because it contains genuinely powerful principles, meeting discipline, scope management, disagree and commit, focused work environments, wrapped in a philosophy that could neuter ambitious leaders if taken at face value. Read it for the operational tactics, steal the meeting framework, which is genuinely valuable, adopt the deadline discipline, and implement the library rules. But for the love of everything profitable, do not swallow the no goals, no growth gospel whole. That's not a business philosophy. That's a retirement plan disguised as a strategy book. It's the best book on corporate calm ever written. But calm without ambition is just stagnation in a cashmere sweater. That's the Stagnation Assassin verdict on it doesn't have to be crazy at work. 3 kills out of 5. Tactical treasure, strategic sedative. If you want calm and carnage and operational discipline without the ambition amputation, you should go out and grab The Unfair Advantage, Weaponizing the Hypomanic Toolbox. You should visit toddhagopian.com and stagnationassassins.com for a bunch of free tools and subscribe to the Stagnation Assassin Show. Calm is not the goal. Controlled aggression is the goal. And the operator who masters both will own the battlefield while the competition is meditating.